Ooh, look at that. Ooh, your backlit. Yeah, with the flare. Ooh.
I might have to get one of these.
Oh, I highly recommend. You should. Okay, here, you ready? Let's do a marker. Okay, so high five and marker. Here, let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we're going.
Okay, which way are we going? We're going this way? Okay. So, I am thrilled to be here in Kansas City, fresh off the airplane. I literally just drove in from the airport here in Kansas City with my good friends and now Doc Walk's walking buddy, Sharon Liese. Hi, Sharon.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith.
So good to be with you.
It's so good to be with you. And for our listeners, we are just coming off a run of Sundance episodes, and we had Sharon booked at Sundance because we were dying to talk to her about her new film Seized, and scheduling just didn't fall into place. But I knew, because I come to Kansas quite a bit, hence my hat here, I'm repping my Jayhawks today, that we would get a chance to walk in Kansas City. And so I'm so glad that we are getting that chance, and thank you for taking the time.
Sure.
And I love that you're repping your Sundance Film Festival t-shirt on our walk. So I'm going to shut up for a second, and I want you to say hi and tell me how Sundance was for you.
Oh, okay. Hi. Sundance was great because I had a short there 3 years ago.
Yep.
And
that
wonderful.
was American Flags? Is that what it's called?
that
or
was
FLAGMAKERs?
the FLAGMAKERs.
FLAGMAKERs.
Film, but I didn't have it at Sundance. But that was one of my films. Parker. And it was a short,
right.
And so this time being at Sundance with a feature was different. It was more intense. There was a lot more activity that I was involved in. I was on more panels, and we had 4 or 5 screenings. So it was a lot. It was exhausting and exhilarating. And I had a great response from the audiences there, and that was so rewarding.
Oh, that has to be so great to work on something for, how long did Seized take you to make?
Well, it was 2.5 years, which is sometimes in some ways a little bit shorter than
Yes, that's like pretty fast actually for a feature doc.
Yeah. But, and you saw the film, right?
I did. Oh, I loved it so much. I just finished it last night. My wife and I watched the screener that you sent.
Okay, great.
And we went into it knowing the story. It's about a small town here in Kansas called Marion, Kansas. And it was a national news story. And I remember when that story hit because my stepdad is actually from Marion. And
really?
Yeah. He was born there. His parents owned the grocery store in Marion for his entire childhood.
Oh my gosh.
And so, this is a tiny town. It's less than 2,000 people.
That's correct.
So even a lot of Kansans don't necessarily know Marion, Kansas. Wow. And so a police chief was basically being investigated by the small town paper. Mm-hmm. They raid the newspaper office, take all the equipment, and it became a national news story because it was essentially like censorship of the press, of the First Amendment. And it was told in this very kind of one-sided way nationally, where it sounded like, how dare they do this to this hallowed institution? And the thing that was so fascinating about your movie, or one of the things, there's many, is how you depict that it's not that simple, that it's actually fairly complicated, and that this newspaper was sort of not always held in the highest regard by the town because they were considered to be kind of like stirring up other people's business and being busybodies and kind of being bullies themselves. So it was a fascinating take on the story.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you processed it that way and could see it like that, because that's kind of how it unfolded for us. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh my God, this is so shocking, and what an egregious attack on the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, and wow. And so I thought it was going to be kind of a serious documentary, while the topic And some of the themes are very serious, and the story is very serious, and what happened was very serious. I mean, there's the 98-year-old woman,
Yes.
co-owner of the newspaper, who dies right after the raid. So,
Right.
It may have had an impact.
She was so awesome in that body cam
I
footage.
know.
For those of you who have not seen it, I guess that will be most people since it hasn't officially
Right.
been distributed yet.
Right.
But the owner or the chief editor of the newspaper's mother is one of the owners and lives with him when they get raided. They go into their house. She's there with her walker and in like a house coat. And she puts on the most amazing display of resistance. She's like cursing the police chief and calling them Nazis, and she pushes over her walker, and she's so feisty and amazing.
She says, "You're going to cause me to have another stroke.
Oh,
if
right.
if I die, it's going to be murder."
And
She
then
says that.
and then she passes away the next day.
Next day.
And it's not clear direct, like she died because of the raid, but I mean, the stress associated with having the police raid her house clearly seems like that's what did it. Right.
I mean, people think that.
Yeah.
So,
God, it's such a juicy topic.
yeah. And so when we got there, and started filming it, it was, that was, you always uncover something, obviously, when you're doing a documentary. You uncover something you didn't expect to uncover.
Right.
And when we started learning about how much people were not really in favor of the newspaper, and especially of the editor, and they were not there wasn't this groundswell of support for him. It was like, oh no, this is not the thing I wanted to.
You're like, wait a second.
Something more. I wanted something different. I don't know what I wanted, but I wanted something else to reveal itself, and
Sure.
not that.
Yeah.
Because how am I going to deal with that?
Right. Well, if he's your main character, and all of a sudden you're learning that your main character is not as likable as you thought they were going into it, that's got to be tricky.
Right. Because you're like, okay, and then you go through a phase of okay, so he's a flawed hero, and then I started meeting all these other quirky characters, and I was like, there's so much color and texture in the people here,
Right.
that this story has got to include them, and include the story about people not feeling the love for the paper.
Right.
But it also took us a very long time to get people to be willing to talk about that.
Yes.
So that took at least a year.
Well, that was one of my main questions for you about this project, is that, so my mom lives in a small town here in Kansas of a little less than 5,000 people. I didn't grow up there, but I get to go back and visit, and I get to go to the Elks Lodge and go to the donut shop and kind of dip into the small town without being of the small town. And the thing that I know about small towns from that experience is that they are very suspicious. They're very friendly, but they're not going to necessarily invite you in
Right.
and reveal themselves
Right.
to you quickly. So in a situation like this, where the national spotlight is on this tiny town, and then you are there as a
Yeah.
documentary director
Right.
trying to tell this story, how do you navigate that?
Yeah. Well, one thing is that I do live in Kansas. I mean, I grew up in upstate New York, but I do live in Kansas, so I can at least talk about some things that are relevant to people in Kansas.
Right.
We have
So
the same
you're
sports teams,
you can talk about the Chiefs
Right,
and the
right.
Royals
or the Jayhawks.
or the Jayhawks, right?
And so,
Although out there it may be the Wildcats. I don't know.
I don't know. There seemed to be a lot of love for KU
Oh, good.
there. Or you talk about the cicadas, or how hot and humid it is, and knowingly.
Right.
So there was that on a surface level, but it definitely took a while because we kept hearing people along the way. They would stop us in the street, and the same people, you would see over and over again because there's not that many people there, and they'd be like, "You don't know the other side of the story. There's so much to know," and so we'd say, well, tell us. And it took a year, and my producer, Paul Mavisowski, who is also my son-in-law.
I was going to ask you about that. Yes, love that.
Yeah, so he worked on, for a long time, he worked on a show, produced Wicked Tuna on National Geographic.
Okay.
So he like knew a lot about navigating people in small towns, and he could kind of talk the talk with them.
And was he here, or is he here, or was he in
LA when we first started filming, and then he would come here, and
I
then they
see.
actually moved here, which was sort of related to the film, but also related to the fact that they have 2 children now.
Oh. And you're here as a free babysitter. Let's stop here and just point out, Sharon, you have picked a very beautiful spot for us to walk here. Tell us where we are. We're standing on a bridge over
We're in Tomahawk Creek.
Tomahawk Creek,
Yeah,
okay.
in Kansas, so it's kind of...
And we're in Leawood, or is this Overland Park?
Leawood. We're really on the cusp of Leawood and Overland Park, but probably a little bit more into Leawood. But yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And we're on a like 2-lane sort of paved trail here. And it feels like we're right in the middle of the city, although we have this like beautiful little stretch of woods here for us to walk through.
I know, isn't it? It's really cool.
It's really cool. You know, one of the things that I really admire about you is that we met making a show in Los Angeles, and I think it was coincidental that we are both Kansans.
I know.
And even when we were working out in LA, I was living in Austin and you were living here. And I know so few filmmakers that live in a place like Kansas and outside of LA and New York. And I don't know, I just really admire that about you, and the fact that you're making films that premiere at Sundance and working with your son-in-law. And I read that the DP of Seized started as your intern and has now become your director of photography on your projects. Like I really love when people make successful work where they live and don't try to move to a place to integrate, but instead sort of make things in their own backyard and then go take them out in the world.
Well, it's interesting because when the pandemic happened, I was just continuing to do like work as usual.
Yeah.
And then everyone, like pitches all of a sudden became, it was commonplace to do those via Zoom, and also just all kinds of meetings and even editing.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for years. And so it was like, welcome to my world.
You're like, this is not any different.
Yeah. So it's great. And then I would go crazy if I was in LA or New York trying to do this, because the competition you're just so hyper aware of, oh my God, there are thousands of other filmmakers trying to do what we're doing.
Right.
And
whereas here it's unique and you're not always talking to people who are trying to do the same thing.
Right. And so you don't feel like you're not aware constantly of the competition for the stories. So that's really helpful for me. And in fact, when I heard about what was going on in Marion, Kansas, I didn't originally just jump to start filming it, because I thought, oh, this is one of those, it's out there, it's in the national, international spotlight. I'm not sure if I want to get into that and really start, trying to compete with the scrum that's like to try to get the story.
I totally understand that. Like living in Austin, when there's like a Texas story like that, that's always my first inclination too, is like, I bet, some showrunner at National Geographic or something is probably already on a plane, and you know what I mean? I'm just like, I just kind of assume like, oh no, my role is to tell more like kind of quirky, intimate, like unexpected stories rather than like the big national story
and then
that's
you
happening.
can just work on the story like on your own. Nobody's trying to get the story. Nobody even knows about it. And you're just working on it. And this one, I was like, I don't know. And then when Joanne, the mother died, the grandmother mother died, I was like, this is in my backyard. All their devices have been seized. Maybe it's it's taking other filmmakers a little bit to get there. So I just drove there because it was only 2 hours away.
Wow. Okay.
So,
So walk me through that day. What was that like?
and how's this
Yeah,
camera
you're doing great. How's your arm?
My arm's about to die.
If that's the case, then here, hit
What do I do?
hit that button, and then you can just switch it to your other arm, and then just do like a POV shot for a minute, and just kind of rest your
That's
arm.
nice.
See?
Do it like you.
Hey, how's that?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you got to get one of these. I'm telling you, they shoot 4K also, and these little mics are like as good as our like, expensive Sennheiser set.
This is
So,
great lens flare.
oh yeah, look at that. Through the treetops. You were going to tell me about that first day when you drove.
Oh yeah, so I
Marion.
drove there, and there were journalists who were waiting to see Eric, the editor, and I just waited. And then I got in, I talked to him, and he's so old school journalist that he was like, well, you got here first, think you got the scoop. I'm like, okay, well, I just want you to know there are going to be lots more people that are going to be contacting you
Yeah.
to see if they could do the story as a doc. So
And did that happen?
it did. And he sent most everyone to me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was it was really good. And so I would talk, and there were a couple high profile people that wanted to get involved at first. And,
Yeah.
and they were we were going to collaborate, and then things didn't work out. So every time it didn't work out, I was like, oh no, like maybe this should have been the partnership that's going to make this film, like get out there.
Right.
And lo and behold, it's getting out there.
Isn't that so funny how our industry works? It's like it's so much of making work, I think of all kinds, but specifically documentary, is doing it in sort of a haze of doubt and confusion and uncertainty, and then somehow you pull it off, and then the thing kind of reveals itself in this way that is better than you first anticipated, you know. And
exactly.
I love that about what we do.
Well, can you tell me what you're working on? I'm like so
Yes.
curious about your and you have like 2 kids now,
Well, I
right?
have 2 kids. So we met in 2018,
Yeah,
and
Pink Collar Crimes.
we
for
did this
CBS.
really fun CBS show that was your idea, right? You and John Kroll.
Well, I'd say it was more John's idea, but yes. And then we created it and developed it, and then we needed to hire a really good director for our recreations that were we needed those to be over the top, sort of quirky and funny, and you were the exact right person to do that.
Well, and I love you guys reached out to me via Facebook, which was so funny because at the time I wasn't really even checking my Facebook messages, and my producer at the Bear, I don't know how this came across her desk, but she was like, I think you really need to respond to this. Like, this seems pretty legit. And so I reached out, and I was kind of like, until it became real, I was like, I don't know if this is real or not, because it just felt so casual. But I think one of the things you guys said to me early on was like, we keep Googling funny documentaries and your name keeps popping up. And so we just thought we should reach out to you. And that's how we met, right?
Yes.
Is that your memory of it too?
Yes.
And it was like super legit from that point forward. It was like I joined the DGA. It was a union show.
That's right.
We went, my first day was in New York. We filmed interviews in New York, and then we flew
Yeah.
from
Oh my God,
New
do you
York to
remember? Do
LA.
you remember that when we were
In first class.
We got everything. We're like, let's order that.
Let's-
Let's hit the button again.
We
Let's
did.
order that.
I remember drinking a lot of wine and eating at least 2 meals, and I think I slept. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was like,
We kept moving our seats and like, oh, we could do this. Oh my God. Oh, we can sit
my
up.
God. We're walking on this trail and we came across this, which is absolutely perfect because this is always what I think about when I think about you.
Yes.
Because when we were meeting each other for that first time, you sent me, you had finished it because you made the GNOMIST is what we're talking about in 24.
It
When had it
premiered
been?
in 2015, so it must have been
2015.
2014 when I was working on it.
Well, so we met in 2017, 2018. So you sent me the link to this, and it was so beautiful and delightful. And it's a short doc that you made. And here, you just describe it, because you can do a better job than I can.
Okay, so it's about a walking path, which is actually part of this trail system here, where these little gnome houses popped up, and everybody was wondering where they came from. And so I started filming it as like a whodunit.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this story about how people found healing, and then the person who actually did create this kind of magic in the forest turned out to be a really special, unexpected person who then changed the lives of this family who had lost a little one.
It's so beautiful, and you don't see it coming at the end, and it's all about somebody who creates these magic little dioramas in the woods and how it catches kind of the community's imagination, right?
Yeah.
And here we come across one.
I
I love it. And it was this trail that was in the movie?
It's yes, but probably, well, not even that far, probably like 2 miles further on this trail.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. This is serendipitous that we ran into one.
I can't believe that.
How cool.
And this is a copycat one, because the gnomist doesn't live here anymore.
Oh, but this is obviously like inspired by it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, Sharon, I love it.
Okay, spoiler alert. So she lives outside of Park City,
Oh,
Utah. So on my way to Sundance, I went and saw her.
no way. Oh, wow. So cool. Okay, so,
Should we turn around?
oh yeah, maybe we should.
Keep walking.
Okay, so we met each other through that experience. And then since then, you have made TRANSHOOD.
Yep.
You made FLAGMAKERS.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously C's that we were just talking about. Tell me about TRANSHOOD and then FLAGMAKERS.
So TRANSHOOD was also a film that I shot here, and I followed 4 trans non-binary kids for 4 years, for 5 years actually, 4 kids for 5 years through their transitions and like everything that was going on in their lives. And they were all at different ages when I started. So they started at 4, 7, 12, and 14. And so, do the math, and 5 years later, there were a lot of changes in, just when you're a kid, there's so much that changes anyway. In your life.
Right.
And physically, emotionally, spiritually, and then so much had happened in the country, though things are happening again.
Yes.
Now, and especially in Kansas right now.
Oh, is that right? I don't know. What's happening?
Yeah, they just changed overnight. They changed the law that now makes it illegal for someone who has changed their gender on a driver's license to be driving with that license.
What?
And it was a surprise.
So you have to keep your gender you were assigned at birth on your driver's license?
Yes, and it just...
Wow.
And it was like something that was snuck into a different law, and people literally just found out, I think yesterday.
Oh.
And it was they have no, there was no warning, and it went into effect immediately.
Wow.
It's insane.
That seems particularly cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that project come about for you?
So I started it in 2013. So it was quite a while ago, and the country was in a different place. And my husband actually was doing some legal work for a trans youth center, and came home and told me about it. And I was like, oh, I would like to talk to them. And so I talked to them, and then, it was the whole process of meeting with parents and the kids. And then I just started filming and just went for 5 years. Basically.
Wow. That's
and
incredible.
then I sold it to HBO.
Awesome.
So, and actually I partnered with Boona Murray and John Murray and Sasha Alpert, and Sasha Alpert was another producer on C's.
Oh, no way.
she left Buna Marie, I think, after 25 years.
Okay.
And then I reached out to her to see if she wanted to be part of this project.
Wow. That's so you have had some high profile partnerships in reading about you for our walk here. I particularly love, and I want to come back to the FLAGMAKERS because I realize we skipped past that. I love your origin story of how you made your first doc. So rather than me recount it, would you give me a recap of your origin story?
Yeah, so I was pretty much doing marketing and communication, and I had a small company doing that. And
that was here in Kansas?
In Kansas. And I started gravitating toward video at that time. And for a lot of the companies that I was doing stuff with, they started to be more and more like nonprofits. And I got into the stories of the people that they were, supporting and helping, and realized that I really liked that type of storytelling. And so when my daughter Justine was going into high school, I thought, it would be kind of interesting to follow her, which didn't happen, and some of her contemporaries at school.
Don't worry, honey. Mom just wants to film everything you're doing with you and your friends.
Exactly. So she much preferred to come home and tell me what was going on at school,
right?
And be the one that was like, "Did you know so and so?" And I was like, "Whoa!"
So she was a producer.
Yes.
Way
exactly.
from the beginning.
That's right.
Oh, I love it.
So I followed 12 girls through their entire high school experience for 4 years, and then that first was at MTV, then went to WeTV, and it became like people still, because it's not on the air anywhere, you can't, or streaming. The first season, the second season is, but the first season, I mean, people are still like, they want the film. They want and it was 8 episodes.
Oh my gosh. And the thing that I love so much about that story is that you were basically doing that all self-financed, right?
Yes.
Like like for the first many years, you were just doing that yourself, without any understanding of what it was going to be or where it was going to live. And then the quote that I read is that you basically went out to LA with like a box of tapes.
Oh yeah.
And you met with RJ Cutler, right?
Yes,
and he ended up coming on board.
No, he didn't actually.
Oh.
But because I met with RJ Cutler, I was able to get an agent who I'm still with today, Seth Lawrence.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I was trying to get
I know. He's at IAG, right? Yeah, I'm with Katie Colbin at IAG, and Katie and Seth.
There you go.
Look at that.
Wow, another connection. That's funny. I tried to get him on board, and he's like, I'm not so sure, because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I look at my letter that I sent to the parents, and it said, this might be on PBS or it might be on HBO. I mean, those are two totally different projects.
Yes.
But who knew?
Yeah.
And then also the people told me, like afterwards, like the parents were like, we just thought we were going to get a VHS tape at the end of this. We didn't know we were going to be on national TV.
You're like, surprise.
So I went out there and I said to Seth, as we were talking back and forth for like months, and I emailed him and said, RJ Cutler is going to meet with me next week. And my fax machine literally went off with a contract from him.
Wow.
So I got that, which is a big deal, to be able to get an agent and have a project out there. So.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. And I love that you just took that leap of faith. Like how...
Well, you do. You know how it is.
I do, but also like being a single mom at the time with a daughter in high school, that seems... Although no, I don't know. I have 2 kids now, and every time I start a project, I'm always like, I don't know if this is the right thing. This feels very irresponsible somehow, and should I be spending this time and money elsewhere? And it seems like with kids, that inclination or that development process only gets harder to justify in some ways.
Right, yeah.
You know, so I really admire that you took that huge leap to do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Our production company, The Bear, is super busy. We've got a roster of directors that we represent for commercial work, and I'm doing this podcast with Keith. I've got 3 doc projects in the works.
You do? Can you tell me about any of them?
I can tell you about the one that I've been trying to make forever, which is kind of turning into my like white whale of a project, which is about The Onion, the satirical newspaper.
Oh, wow.
And I keep gaining access, losing access, gaining funding, losing funding. And we're on year 8 at this point.
Is it still published?
Oh yeah. And in fact, what's going on with it now is amazing. They got sold by one of the many conglomerates that have owned it over the years, and to a tech billionaire who basically said, I don't want to live in a world where the Onion doesn't exist. Set up a CEO and his team who have never run a media company before, but they're all ex-reporters. It's a great story. And they've restarted the physical copy of the paper, so it's like a subscription model. They've brought back all these alumni. And the best thing...
Great. This will be a great...
Thank you. I know it will be. And
wait, is it funding?
Well, what's happening right now is that the CEO is basically like concentrating on all the other business things. And when I have met with him, he's like, look, we want to do this. You're the guy to do it. Just not right now. And so I have a meeting with him in April. So fingers crossed that we can get it right now. And in the meantime, it's been very hard to raise any money or move the project forward because we don't have a shopping agreement, because they're not ready to sign that yet. So,
but you have filmed for a
well,
really?
We've gone through 2 complete cycles of development where it's totally different takes on the material. And this is now a 3rd. And I'm hesitant to spend any more development money until we can get the yes,
love that.
This is what's going to happen direction. And the most exciting thing is they are about to buy or take control of Alex Jones's InfoWars.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So, and then they're going to run it as a satirical version of itself. I know. Well, let's get them on the phone. Let's
do it, because it's the best marketing is to be doing something like this.
I've tried all of those angles, and in fact, what I did with my co-director in December was we basically did a version of this where we were like, okay, if we don't have any money and we don't have access yet, we're going to go film with one of the funniest original writers. And we basically filmed ourselves like, come on with us. We're going to go hang out with this guy for the day. And it's hilarious. And so we have this like 45-minute edit of us hanging out with him, basically doing this, where we're characters, he's a character, he's showing us his world. And we shot it in this way where we can use the interviews for the longer form doc. So that's kind of my main passion project right now.
So I love that. You know, I wonder if the CEO has seen, there's like 3 docs on the New Yorker.
Yeah, I know. I keep seeing them come out. Like Marshall Curry's one that
yeah, that was just the most recent one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, maybe you can talk to David Rennick, see what he says about being in a documentary.
I mean, my friend who started the 19th, which is like a female-focused newspaper that is just killing it. She lives in Austin. She wrote him directly on my behalf and said as much. You know, having a documentary made about us was huge for our fundraising and our publicity. But fingers crossed, I've got a meeting coming up next month with him in Chicago. So
sending good vibes.
My agent keeps saying, like, I can't believe this is still not happening. Like, this is, from the beginning, this has felt like a home run. And the fact that it's like taken 8 years.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
I think it's going to be one of those, like, you know, it took me 10 years to make this movie stories, you know.
Yeah, it'll be a good story.
Yeah.
And a good story.
And a good story about a good story.
Yeah.
Well, man, so Justine, your daughter, has moved back.
Yes.
You have 2 grandchildren now? That's all new.
2 grands.
That's incredible. So what ages?
Almost 1 year.
Oh,
and a little over 2.
Oh my gosh.
They got 2 in diapers.
And they moved back here. That's
here,
so great.
Like I'm thrilled. I mean, I literally pinch myself every day.
That means that you did it right, because the parenting person that I follow for advice talks about the crowded table idea, and
there's a song.
Oh, really? Called The Crowded Table?
So
oh, I don't know this song.
It's such a good song about like dreaming of a crowded table.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. If you do it well, then your kids come back to you and they want to spend time with you and they want to be around you and they want to bring their friends and then their families eventually. And So you have the crowded table. You
know,
did
which I
it.
always
You
wanted.
did it, Sharon. And you have a film premiering at Sundance.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then, you know, they come back here, and meanwhile I'm taking her husband on shoots away all the time. And then we get into Sundance, and it was, 3 months of chaos.
yeah, sure.
like-
just publicity and yeah.
And just trying to finish the film.
Right. Oh, right. Right.
You got some deliverables,
Right.
and all this. Oh my gosh! So it's like, sorry, I'll watch the kids after Sundance, but now I'm on to other things. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
gonna babysit tonight,
What are those other things? Tell me, because you've always got awesome projects cooking.
and I can tell you about FLAGMAKERS if you want.
Oh, yes. Please, let's circle
let's-
back to that because I love that idea. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that movie, by the way. I want you to send me that link
Okay, all right. It's on
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
on Disney Plus. Okay.
Yeah, because it was through Nat Geo. We were licensed through Nat Geo.
Okay.
So I co-directed it with Cynthia Wade, which I think maybe, I don't know if you've
Well,
met her or not.
I read that, I haven't met her. I read that you guys made Selfie together also.
Yeah.
Okay.
At Sundance, yeah. That was a different film at Sundance. So it wasn't in competition and wasn't, but anyway, we have it there, yeah. And so we did this film about a flag company, the largest American flag company in the U.S.
So they literally make the American flag.
Yeah, and flagpoles.
Wow.
They're important to them.
Okay.
And this one is to say that the largest maker of
Not just the flags,
and flagpoles.
but the poles. Okay.
And so and they're in Wisconsin, right outside of Milwaukee.
Interesting. Okay.
And it was just this amazing story of how all these different hands are making the American flag, and hands that you might not, that some people might not expect to
Okay.
be making the American flag. And so most of their employees are immigrants and refugees from around the world.
Wow, what an amazing story.
Yeah, and so we go into their stories, and of course it was a time in the country of unrest, and so we were capturing that and capturing their responses to that, and they are just kind of a breath of fresh air in a way, because they love America
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, they're Americans,
Right.
but they love America in a way that, we are all kind of losing sight of. The
Yeah.
reasons why.
Yeah.
It's what's great about our country. So it's just it's a very poignant, powerful, story that's kind of, it's very relevant.
I love
Like
it.
seized is very relevant in terms of the, freedoms that we have. This is about immigration.
And that's a short doc,
Yeah.
correct?
And that one, yeah.
So did you read about that in the paper or something?
Well,
and
that
then
one, yeah. I mean, it started like the way some docs do, in another place and time. And so it started in Kansas City, where I was following some women who were going through a sewing program, who were new immigrants to the country, and they were learning a trade. And so I was following them through this program, the sewing program. And at the end of the program, one of the women got a job at a flag factory in Kansas City. And I went to follow her there, and I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Maybe this is the story.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't get access to that flag factory.
Oh, interesting.
And then at that time I was talking to Cynthia about it. She's like, oh, I like that story. I go, I do too. So we abandoned the other one and then started looking around the country for a flag factory that would let us in. And we found this flag factory in Wisconsin. And we met with them, and they were gun shy. They weren't sure that they wanted to be out there.
Yeah. So give me some
there was
advice.
hope.
How do you talk them into it? What did you say when they were telling you how gun shy they were?
Well, you know how to gain trust, and it takes time.
It takes
Sometimes
time.
it takes 8 years.
Yeah.
So it just takes, and when you gain that trust one day, you still have to regain the trust the next time you meet
Right.
them, or in between the shoots.
Right.
The next time you call them. So there was a lot.
And so that was shortlisted to the Oscar, wasn't it?
It was, and we got an Emmy.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
And so that all came from your natural curiosity about filming these women here locally who were
Yes.
learning how to sew.
Yes.
Wow. And then grew, as docs have a tendency to do,
They
into
do.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that you don't expect.
But you followed that kind of initial kernel of curiosity, and then that led you to the...
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that's the thing that like is common among all of us documentary filmmakers? Is
Yes.
that we're immensely curious.
Yeah, well, the good ones are for sure, you know, like, and I love that sort of like playfulness too, to just basically be like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to follow a hunch and just trust that it's like a trust fall, you
Right,
know, like
right,
you're
right,
going to
right,
land somewhere good.
Right.
You have no idea where,
Yeah.
and you hope it doesn't hurt too bad.
Right. Or cost too much.
Or cost too much money. Exactly.
Yeah, because there's many, as my agent always says, most projects don't sell.
Right. Right.
So-
And especially these days, geez. We're coming up to the end of our walk, and we usually do like a lightning round, which I do want to do with you.
Okay.
But I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't ask you how you're feeling just sort of in general. You know, like we talk to a lot of filmmakers on this podcast, and of course we're always looking at, you know, what's going on with financing and what projects people are excited about and whatever. And you know, there's definitely a way that you could read the industry right now as being in a real crisis.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know your reading of it.
Well, I actually called my agent today and texted my sales agent because we're trying to sell Seized.
Right.
I was like,
Here, maybe we go this way.
this is Paramount stuff affecting our lives.
Right, because that's all people would talk about at Sundance was the M&A, the mergers and acquisitions, because everybody's basically just sitting on their hands until all this stuff
Right.
resolves.
Right. And nobody really has any good answers,
Right.
which is unfortunate. So you kind of have to go back to I can't hold my breath that long.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to have to exhale and go with it and hope that things would turn out, you know, and that good storytelling will prevail. But it just feels like we are getting more and more squeezed. And I'm sure you feel the vice too. It just doesn't feel good.
Well, it's funny, right? Because it's like on the one hand, the democratization of media seems to have always been the goal somehow. Like everybody talks about how, you know, great it would be if we could all film everything. And in one way, as documentary filmmakers, that's kind of true. Because now, like, if you're making a story about something, particularly like a contemporary story, like Seized has like footage from cameras that were in the office that were recording and body cam footage from the
12
officers.
cameras.
I mean,
multicam shoot.
amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you have so much footage to play with and to tell stories with, which is undeniably amazing. And on the other hand, you know, we're shooting with these tiny cameras. We can put this out on YouTube, basically cost nothing. And so when people are used to experiencing media costing nothing, they don't really want to pay for it to be made. And that's kind of the pinch that we're all sort of living through. And I don't know, it's a funny contradiction.
Right. Yes. And even, you know, like who is now going to be the gatekeeper, not
Right.
just determining where the resources will go, but just the content,
Right.
like just molding this content and snuffing out content that we all feel is really important.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Yeah.
it's scary times.
It's really strange. Absolutely. But I agree with you. Like, you know, good stories find a home eventually, and it doesn't matter if it's, you know, for free on YouTube or, you know, you have to have a subscription to Netflix or Apple TV or whatever. It's like, you know, I'm still seeing like Come See Me in the Good Light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that movie just made me so glad to be alive. And, you know, so movies like that are still being made. Your beautiful film, Seized, like, you know, so I'm very optimistic. The finance part has never been my strong suit, so I don't expect that to change now, I guess. So, okay, so lightning round question. Let's see. First one is, what was the gateway drug documentary for you that you saw and you went, I want to make documentaries?
Mad Hot Ballroom.
Ooh, okay. We haven't heard that one before. Tell me why.
It just was, I think it was my introduction to like really good verite, and also how you could follow a story that was really happening and have a really good beginning, middle, end already kind of like set out for you.
Right.
And it was before I think before I did High School Confidential, because it must have been, I don't know, it was a long time ago, but I remember that being an inspiration for me.
Yeah, cool. Okay. That's great.
I didn't prepare for this. So let's see what the next
Well,
questions are.
you're already acing it. Let's see. As I mentioned, we hope that this podcast is for like the 20-year-old version of ourselves, where we were just starting out, we were falling in love with the art form, unsure of how to do it. So we're talking to professionals here. So what would your advice be to somebody who is just starting out, making their first project?
Well, I would say don't feel like you have to move to LA or to New York. You could move to Austin. You could move to Kansas City.
Right.
There are a lot of cities now that are creating great film and television. And you can also do it where you are. So that's one. And to just keep doing it.
Yes.
To just try to keep telling your stories. Because, you know, your first one could be amazing and everybody could love it. It could also be something that doesn't resonate with anyone, but you just have to keep doing it, because even later on you're going to do stuff that'll be great and not so great.
Right.
So I just say, you know, keep telling the stories.
I love that you mentioned that even later on, because I made a bunch of shorts before I made Winnebago Man, but that was my first feature, you know, and so to like go on the Tonight Show and, you know, play it all over the world and get, you know, theatrical distribution, all that, like, I kind of was like, oh, well, this is like every movie from now on, you know? And that's so stupid in hindsight at the time.
The same way when I did.
Right? I mean, you get that first taste of success and you're like, oh, well, now every
Now
project.
I want to do this and I'll just be able to do it.
Exactly.
And then you're like, what? Nobody wants it?
Yeah, and nobody's going to give me money and I still have to like, you know, scrimp and save and do this the hard way? What?
Exactly.
Yes. I think that's an important I still need reminding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Spielberg doesn't have to deal with it, but I would assume that everybody on every level doesn't have the money they need, doesn't have the time they want, can't get the cast thereafter, the access that would be ideal. Like there's always problems.
He doesn't get all the awards that he used to get.
Right? It's hard out there.
It is.
Otherwise,
keep doing it.
Otherwise everybody would do it. That's right. Okay, and then last one, what is the thing that you can't stop thinking about right now? And let's make it not film related.
Oh. Wow. That's pretty hard because I'm always thinking about films. Well, let's see. I'm pretty obsessed with my grandkids.
I understand. I can only imagine.
And I do think about the last time I saw them and the funny things that Jet said and the funny things that Ryder did, and it just makes me smile and feel such gratitude for being alive.
I love to hear that. That's so great. I mean, do you feel like you're winning at the game of life? Like you have your grandkids close. You just premiered a movie at Sundance. Like it's, you know, it seems.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, you're living in Kansas City. This, you know, we're out here strolling this beautiful weather. Like, I don't know. I look at you and I'm like, I want some of what Sharon's got. Like you make it look really great.
Oh my God, I am really happy and I feel very fortunate.
Good.
And I'm so glad I got to see you.
I know. This is so much fun. Thank you for doing this, honestly.
Thank you.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure to cover? Like, do you want to tell people where to find Seized or follow your work or?
Just find me on Instagram.
Okay.
At just Sharon Liese.
Okay. At Sharon Liese.
Liese, Sharon Liese. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be at a bunch of film festivals coming up.
Oh, yeah. What's next? Where does Seized play?
So let's see. The next one is going to be True False, which is next week. And we're the Show Me film for it.
Awesome.
And we're also going to be in based on a true story.
Awesome.
So we're going to be doing that panel. Then Martha's Vineyard. And then I can't talk about the rest of them because they're not announced yet.
Well, we can talk about your fabulous necklace. Here, show me that because it's hidden under your shirt. But I saw this.
It was a big hit at Sundance. Here, should I put it on? Here.
right there.
Yeah.
See,
My husband made this for me. He surprised me with it.
Wow, you got a good husband. Hang on to that one.
I do.
And keep making awesome work. And thank you for taking the time to walk with me today and to catch up. And I don't know. I guess that's it. Let's cut.
Okay.
All right.
Next time on Doc Walks, we are hitting a milestone episode of number 50, and to celebrate, we're inviting in close friend of the podcast, business partner at The Bear, frequent collaborator, and even co-director with Ben Steinbauer, our good pal, Bernd Mader. You may know Ben and Bernd's work together on Chop and Steal, but we're going to do a deep dive on a film you don't know because the world has yet to see, and spoiler alert, may never see. So you're not going to want to miss this one. We're going deep for episode 50 of Doc Walks. Doc Walks is created, produced, and edited by my friend Ben Steinbauer of The Bear.
Hello. And my friend Keith Mayland of Go Valley.
Thanks for tuning in.
Follow us at Doc Walks Pod on Instagram, X, and YouTube.